Hey guys, let's get more news about Warriors. But first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Warriors get bad news on Steph Curry's injury. No Superman in Game 5. The Golden State Warriors may not have Stephen Curry to save them from the brink of elimination. The two-time NBA MVP is not expected to play in Wednesday's Game 5 against the Minnesota Timberwolves, he told Anscape's Mark J. Spears on Monday. Even if I wanted to be Superman, I couldn't, said Curry, who is nursing a grade 1 left hamstring strain. Curry has not played since injuring his hamstring in the second quarter of Game 1 on May 6. Having lost all 3 games without their top scorer, who previously said he'd be out a week, the Warriors now face elimination in the best-of-7 second-round series. Warriors not counting on Superman following Monday's 117-110 loss. Warriors forward Draymond Green was quick to downplay any possibility of Curry returning before he's ready. "No, we're not going to Superman this thing," Green said when asked if he expects Curry to try to push to return. "If he's in a place where he can play, I'm sure he will. Him and Rick Celebrini, Warriors Vice President of Player Health and Performance, and everybody will figure that out. But we don't need Curry to try to be Superman. Got to play the long game. If he can, we know he will. But there's no pressure. We've got to figure out how to win whether he plays or not." The 37-year-old Curry had been averaging a team-high 22.66 points per game in the playoffs prior to his injury, along with 5.3 rebounds and 5.1 assists. He had 13 points on 5 of 9 shooting, 3 of 6 on three-pointers, over 13 minutes in a 99-88 win to open the series. Asked following Game 4 if Curry would be allowed to play Wednesday if he said he was able, Warriors coach Steve Kerr declined to address hypotheticals. Should they manage to extend the series, Game 6 would be Sunday back in the Bay Area. "When are we giving the update?" Kerr asked a team PR representative. "Wednesday, we'll have an update." All eyes turn to Butler. Golden State will look to Jimmy Butler to try to keep its season afloat. Coming off a 33-point outburst in Game 3, the 6-time All-Star was limited only 14 points on 5 of 9 shooting. The Warriors led by 2 at halftime, but were outscored 39-7 during the third quarter as Minnesota flipped closely contested contest into a decisive win. "We obviously need him shooting the ball," Green said, adding that Butler had been feeling ill. "But their defense, they were collapsing on him today. So we tried to pick up that slack." Butler, who earned the nickname Playoff Jimmy for his postseason heroics with the Miami Heat, is averaging 21 points, 7.8 rebounds, and 5.5 assists against Minnesota. Draft lottery gives Warriors last laugh on failed Lauri Markkanen and trade talks. While the Golden State Warriors had no part in Monday's NBA draft lottery, there was no shortage of drama in perhaps the most shocking result in recent memory. Yet, as the Dallas Mavericks celebrate claiming the number 1 pick despite having just a 1.8% chance, it's a different story for some teams who spent their entire season hoping for a far better result than what they got. One of those is the Utah Jazz, who had the worst record of any team this season and subsequently entered with the equal best lottery odds alongside the Washington Wizards and Charlotte Hornets. But instead of getting the first pick or even a top 3 selection, the Jazz were forced to settle for 5th in a nightmare result. According to Michael Sines of the Jots, Warriors get last laugh on failed Lauri Markkanen negotiations rewind nearly 12 months ago, and the Warriors and Jazz held significant negotiations surrounding All-Star forward Lauri Markkanen. Part of the reason the Finnish forward was thought to be available was that while he's a very good player, he's not the franchise cornerstone level player that Utah want or need. After over a month of rumors and speculation, the Jazz ultimately kept Markkanen and renegotiated and extended his contract that also prevented him from being moved at February's mid-season trade deadline. Utah were proven right in thinking they could tank while retaining Markkanen on the roster, with the 27-year-old appearing in just 46 games this season. However, that's not to say their decision to keep him was the right one. The Jazz could have got a bunch of picks and young players for Markkanen and cast their net of assets far wider rather than relying on the luck of this year's lottery. Instead, they can still get a good player with the number 5 pick, but might have to tank another year or two in the hopes of gaining that true cornerstone piece. What does that mean for Markkanen, who's never made the playoffs in his 8-year career? Utah could consider trading him again this off-season. Yet, the problem now is that he holds far less value than what he did last July. Not only is Markkanen about to start a substantial 4-year $195 million contract, but his underwhelming form this season would suggest that isn't great value from a team standpoint. So now the Jazz are left with a player who has lost significant trade value while still being without the franchise cornerstone piece they crave. The Warriors appear to be having the last laugh on those failed Markkanen and trade negotiations, especially given they subsequently used less assets to acquire Jimmy Butler, who has lifted them to the second round of the playoffs. Stephen Curry has been ruled out of the Golden State Warriors win-or-go-home Game 5 against the Minnesota Timberwolves. The May 14th contest will be the 4th game Curry has missed. He is dealing with a grade 1 hamstring strain. The Athletic's Anthony Slater broke the news on X, formerly known as Twitter. Steph Curry is out tomorrow for Game 5 in Minnesota. Slater reported the Warriors officially face elimination without their star guard. Golden State's plan has always been to try to push the series into Game 6 or 7 in the hope of getting Curry back into the rotation. Without their superstar guard, the Warriors need Jimmy Butler to step up and produce at the level we saw from him during the Miami Heat's run to the 2023 NBA Finals. Before his injury, Curry had been enjoying a strong postseason. The aging sharpshooter averaged 22.6 points, 5.3 rebounds, and 5.1 assists over 8 games. He was shooting 40% from deep on 10 attempts per game and 60% from two-point range. Since Curry has been sidelined with injury, Steve Kerr has found additional minutes for Jonathan Kuminga. The explosive forward has stepped up in a big way and will undoubtedly play an important role. However, Curry's presence would undoubtedly generate a bigger impact. New update emerges on Steph Curry's injury timeline. The Golden State Warriors finally got some good news on Steph Curry's hamstring injury, but it may be too little too late for the team. Curry will be re-evaluated Wednesday, but is making good progress in his rehab work according to Brett Siegel of Clutch Points. The Warriors still have a goal of getting him back for a potential Game 6 of the Western Conference semifinals. And it appears to be a realistic possibility at this point. For the Warriors to take advantage of Curry's potential availability, they will have to get to Game 6 first. Curry has made it very clear that he will not be able to play in Game 5 no matter what, and the Warriors must find a way to win that game on the road to keep the series going. Curry departed early in Game 1 of the series against the Minnesota Timberwolves after straining his left hamstring. Golden State won that game, but has since lost 3 in a row without Curry in the fold. The Warriors have struggled to adapt on offense without Curry's movement and shooting prowess, both of which open things up for the rest of the team. That could be an issue if he is still hobbled in any way for Game 6. But no matter what, the Warriors have to find a way to get there first. And you fan, what do you think about Steph Curry's situation? Write to us in the comments.